I think we can all agree that WWE has not been very good lately. For instance, this upcoming PLE, Clash in Paris, it has not really drawn my attention at all. Some might argue that the card is stacked, and I won't argue that. I would agree, it is stacked. But in terms of drawing my attention, it has not. So in this video, I'm going to go over 9 separate things that I think are causing WWE to not be very engaging or just very good in general lately. Let's get into it. Let's start with the pricing issue right now. Prices have begun to go up in every single capacity, from ticket prices to just regular streaming service prices. And with this upcoming switch from Peacock to ESPN in the US, let's just say pricing right now is not the greatest. We're expected to be having to pay like $30 a month or whatever for streaming service for ESPN. I mean, there might be a way out of doing that for some people. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, we're expected to be switching from that. And then the president of WWE, Nick Khan, comes on and says that he expects fans to do it willingly. It's like, I'm going to be honest with you, you're probably going to lose maybe a fifth of your viewership just because of that. I'll be honest with you. Not many people can afford that, you know? Peacock was a lot more affordable. I mean, don't get me wrong, Peacock started raising their prices as well, but it was a lot more affordable than what $30 was, or $30 is going to be. It makes no sense to be switching from that to that. I mean, yes, I get it. You want to have your platform be shown from a wider variety of people. I get that, but the problem here is your old viewership, the people who actually got you to where you are now, you're going to lose those people. And I would say those people are way more important than the people that you think are going to elevate you later, such as the people who are all on ESPN. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, there's not a person in the world who doesn't know what WWE is. I'm going to tell you right now, I just don't think there is. They are way too big of a name to not know who they are. So, in terms of people just not knowing, I don't think it's there. But another issue going on is the fact that ticket prices are being raised. You know, the ticket prices for next year's WrestleMania have already dropped, and let's just say I'm not going to that. I don't think I ever was planning on it in the first place, but in terms of pricing now, I'm definitely not going, especially because the seats that are going to be really, really good, like the front rows and all next to the stage and the walkway down to the ring, those ticket prices are absolutely insane. Who would pay that? I mean, outside a green shirt guy, who else would pay that? I mean, seriously, I don't know why these prices are just astronomically high. I don't get it. I mean, yes, your thing is getting better, but honestly, TKO is taken over to an extent that is just not good. TKO, oh, they are ruining what WWE it was all about, you know? It was about the wrestling, the storylines, and all that. Now it's about the money, and it is really hurting the product because, as I was saying earlier, I'm not even drawn to this upcoming PLE because there's a chance I might not even watch this thing live. I mean, sure, I might go back and watch some of these matches, but in terms of wanting to get home in time from work to go watch it live or whatever, since it's over in Europe, I don't know if I'm really going to be rushing to get home to go see it, you know? It's one of those shows where it's just like, you know, I could just watch some highlights or something like that. I'm not drawn to this one, and that's like the first time I can say that since probably WrestleMania 40. And don't get me wrong, there has been some stinker PLEs since WrestleMania 40. But in terms of me being drawn to it, this is, I think, the first one that I'm not like entirely drawn to. And my friend Justin, you saw him earlier this month, he basically has stopped watching for the most part because he's the same way. It has just not been a great, enjoyable product right now. And I'm about to get into more of that right now. Another thing that has been very irritating lately has been the storylines. Storylines are lacking overall creativity, depth, and are just boring, you know? For instance, we have multiple issues going on Monday Night Raw. For example, Seth Rollins' faction, The Vision, they are getting stale very quickly. Judgment Day. They have been going in circles around AJ Styles since Night of Champions. I can't remember the name of the PLE. Night of Champions. They've been going in circles around him since then, and the whole premise of it is getting annoying because more and more I am not thinking AJ Styles is winning that championship. And it would be one thing if it was like a solid feud, and at first it was. It was really entertaining feud from Night of Champions up until SummerSlam. But after AJ cost Dom at AAA, I lost interest in it because it was like Styles didn't need to do that. And now I think they're finally coming full circle to realizing that the crowd wanted to see Dom as champion. Why didn't we pull the trigger as a double champion down in AAA? I don't know why they didn't do that, because now I think they have to redo it with this upcoming Worlds Collide on September 12th. They, I think, are finally going to pull the trigger with it because they realized the reaction Dom got down there and that Vikingo did not get great reactions down there. So they're going to make up for it and probably crown Dom as the AAA champion there. But that's my problem is, why did we not just do it the first time at their biggest event? That's when they should have done it. And I don't know why they didn't do it. You know, it has just been a massive headache in terms of storylines just not being done the way they should be. There's no creativity to them. I feel like there's just been no arcs in majority of these storylines. For instance, on SmackDown, SmackDown's a whole nother problem. Their storylines are just awful in the sense that there's no consistency to them being actually good. SmackDown is just not a great show, and it struggles because of the storylines. There's like barely any women's storylines on SmackDown that actually are entertaining and engaging me. They're trying something with Kiana James and Julia. Has not drawn me whatsoever so far. Tiffany Stratton, I've always been a big proponent of this. I'm not a huge Tiffany Stratton fan. She's not a great champion in my opinion, and what has been going on, God only knows. You know, I think the only somewhat interesting thing, and that was back before SummerSlam, was the Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss stuff. That was somewhat interesting then, but now it's getting to the point where they don't even know where to go with it. And that's the problem, is they don't have any credible champions on SmackDown outside of Bliss and Flair. And all the credible champions are on Raw. You know, we got Rhea and Io seemingly forming a tag team. Maybe they become the new tag team champions, I don't know. But Raquel and Roxanne, they're the only other team I can think of that actually deserves it, outside of teams down in NXT. And that's a whole other issue we'll get into in a little bit. But yeah, I mean, creativity and just overall flow on SmackDown is just not there. SmackDown is the least consistent show I have seen in a long time. I mean, for instance, this past Friday, SmackDown in Ireland, I actually thought it was a good show, but I can't remember when the last good one was outside of that one. You know, it might have been the one right before SummerSlam, you know, when John Cena finally returned to face form. But yeah, these shows have just not been consistent at all. They don't know how to create a good show when they don't have some of their big names showing up. It's only a good show when their big names show up, and that's not a recipe for success. You know, you have not done a great job at building your brand around other superstars that can actually put on a show, such as the TLC match that we had at SummerSlam between all those tag teams on SmackDown. That was a fantastic match, arguably the best match of the entire night on SummerSlam, and yet it feels like we're going in circles around them. Again, same shit, different day. And I'm okay if it's like going somewhere, but right now it just does not feel like it's going somewhere. And that's the problem I've had with a lot of it, is that we just go in circles, or we are just repeating certain things, such as the Vision opening Monday Night Raw and closing Monday Night Raw every single week since the Raw after WrestleMania, which I'm about to get into. The Vision opening and closing every single segment on Monday Night Raw. Oh my gosh, this group has just been so damn annoying to watch lately. I don't know what it is, but I want to say ever since maybe Monday, the Raw after SummerSlam, this group has started to annoy me. Now, yes, initially I was excited to see Seth Rollins as champion because I thought Seth Rollins would be a great champion, but holy shit, his reign has been terrible so far, at least in my opinion, and it's not because he's had no defenses. I just don't like what they're doing with the championship right now. I'm not a fan of it, and sure, LA Knight, CM Punk, Jay, get the hell out of here, Jay, I don't care, but CM Punk and LA Knight, sure, LA Knight definitely deserves a shot, but CM Punk, I think, deserves a shot first. Having this big-ass fatal four-way, I guess it can make sense, but it's just, they're overcomplicating it right away. It's either they overcomplicate it or they undercomplicate it to an extent where people just want to see more. And the problem is they can't find that silver lining, and it's just hurting the show really, really badly. I cannot overstate it enough that this show is struggling right now to stay afloat. I mean, they can't find another person to open Monday Night Raw outside of Seth Rollins. I mean, every single week we are burning it down. Or we have that fucking Jey Uso yeet going on, and that's another bad way to open the show. Like, the first good opener we just had was Roman Reigns coming out. But Roman Reigns, I am assuming, is going away after Clash in Paris to go film his movie. So we're not going to have any of that. But we finally had a different opening. But guess what? Seth Rollins' group closed the show again. It's either they open and close, or they just open, or they just close. But I think they have closed every single freaking Raw. I'm not even kidding. I think they have closed every single Raw. Open, they might have missed a few shows, such as this past Monday Night Raw, but they have definitely closed, I think, every single show. And it is getting frustrating, to say the least, because this group, they're not even that good. I mean, yes, I'm not saying individually they're not good. I'm saying as a group, they're not good. You know, I don't feel the chemistry between them. Okay, I really don't. They are not like 2023 Judgment Day. I don't feel that chemistry between them. And Judgment Day in 2023, they at least had interesting storylines going around, where they had drama in the group, where Finn and Priest were like at each other's throat throughout the majority of the summer, wanting to kill each other, and Rhea and Dom were like trying to play peacekeeper. That was a freaking so interesting storyline. Finn going after the world title, Priest accidentally costing him, so we thought, with his Money in the Bank briefcase 2 separate times, one at Money in the Bank and one at SummerSlam, and Finn wanting to kill Priest after both times. The first time, Priest got it around as it was an accident, blah, 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 blah. Second time around, Finn didn't know, and that's what made it so interesting. But we have not had something like that. Now, albeit, this group did just form at the end, like around Saturday night's main event in May, you know, the whole group being together. But, yeah, I can say firsthand that the forming a Judgment Day between Finn, Damian, Rhea, and Dom was a hell of a lot more interesting at first than what this Vision group has been so far. Because, seriously, it is every single day of Monday Night Raw. They are either opening or closing the show, and they have the most segments out of any other group. Now, I get it. They are a new group. They have a lot of big names in the group, so obviously you want them to be shown. I just don't think they are being shown in the proper way. And it's being shown in a way that's really annoying me, and I'm assuming a lot of you guys. Clash in Paris, not really drawing me as it should. Now, this could easily go with what I was just talking about in boring storylines, and I would say that's probably the case here, because the card is stacked, but the storylines have just not been very good. I think the best built story so far is John Cena versus Logan Paul. Whether you want to agree or disagree, say you hate Logan Paul, I don't really care, because I think Logan Paul is great at what he does. Not saying he's a great person outside of WWE, but that's all another story. I really do believe, though, that they need to find a way to just get back to their old ways. TKO has taken way too much control of how WWE builds their shows. Because right now, I would say all of their attractions, for the most part, are wrestling at Clash in Paris, you know. The only one who I don't think is Rhea Ripley, you know. but she just wrestled on this past Monday Night Raw. So, yeah. And for instance, she's another one who is struggling right now to find her footing with everything else going on, you know? Vision, I think, is taking a lot of valuable time away from other storylines such as Rhea Ripley and Io Sky against the Kabuki Warriors that is seemingly going to happen sometime in the future. I mean, if we given this feud enough time to cook a couple more segments throughout the Monday Night Raws from SummerSlam, I'm telling you, this match could easily have happened at Clash in Paris. Why isn't it? You know, why isn't it? Why is Sheamus and Rusev happening at Clash in Paris? That could have easily happened on a Monday Night Raw after. I can guarantee you there is a lot of people who don't want to see that match on Clash in Paris. Me, one of them. That's a bathroom break match for me, man. Out of all of them, that's the bathroom break match. I don't want to see that match. I really don't. There's a few matches that could have been on that one. For instance, the one I just talked about, Rhea and Io versus the Kabuki Warriors. Or Dom and AJ for the IC title. That's happening next Monday night on Raw. Why isn't that on the Clash in Paris card? You know, we were so quick to announce the Sheamus and Rusev match that we are missing two key matches that can easily happen at Clash in Paris over this match and should happen over this match. I touched on this earlier, but another thing being all the champions except Becky Lynch have been terrible so far. The reigns have just not been good. Another one that I think has been okay has been Dom's, but that hasn't even been that good because they don't want to acknowledge the fact that he's been getting cheered. So it's made his reign bad. They have been gatekeeping Dom. They do not want him to be getting cheered right now. But now they are starting to add a little bit of attention to it with the commentators actually saying something about him getting serenaded by the crowd. And the problem is Dom's not really accepting it because there's times where he is covering his ears, trying not to hear it, even though he's getting cheered and it makes no sense for him to do that. But it's like he's trying to make it sound like he's getting booed when he's not, and it's so obvious he is getting cheered. They don't want to turn him face because he's easily the biggest heel they have, but right now he is obviously struggling to get that heel heat that he's had, so it's like, you gotta turn somebody else heel here, and I'm not saying you turn AJ Styles heel, but you have a heel in Finn Balor that is a fantastic heel. Fucking do it! Like, what are we doing? Why are we sticking around AJ Styles right now? It should be transitioning into the Finn-Dom feud that has been brewing for God knows how long now. Why aren't we pulling the trigger on this feud, man? Dom's reign has not been very good because of the fact that they don't want to acknowledge him being cheered. Well, then just acknowledge it at this point, and it would be a good reign. You know, they have kept the championship on him since SummerSlam, so it's obvious they have big plans for him. You know, he's one of the only champions left since WrestleMania, you know, who has held the title since WrestleMania. I think Tiffany Stratton is the only other one who's actually held her the same championship since WrestleMania. That's huge. That is huge. But they are not utilizing it the way they should be. And then Seth Rollins, for instance. He got one defense in since the LA Night on Raw. The Raw after. One defense right away. I like that. Okay? But the championship itself is not being utilized the way it should be. Okay? It's really, really not. And it worked with Roman Reigns, but it's not working with Seth Rollins. It's just not. And I'm not even saying Seth is not defending the way Roman Reigns would defend, where Roman Reigns would only defend like once every 3 months or whatever, because Seth's already about to have his second defense. That's not the issue. I don't even know what the issue is. It's just, I thought Seth's reign was going to be great, okay? But it's like his reign's been focused around too many people right away. And it's like, that's around Royal Rumble time for me, man. Right away, though, I feel like it should be focused on maybe one person, and then it swaps to another person. All these people that Seth's going against, it should be a one-on-one match, you know? It really, really should be. And whether or not the Vision gets involved in Seth's match or not, to cost the person the match, like kind of like Roman Reigns, that's fine. You know what? That's fine. I just don't think utilizing all these people right away is helping Seth, because it's not. In my opinion, it is hurting his reign, and I want to see more Seth individually. I don't want to see Seth with his group. This reign so far has not been focused on his reign, it's been focused on his group, and I don't like that. It's been way too focused on his group, and I don't see Seth enough come out and cut a promo about his championship, you know? I don't know. They should have visited just CM Punk right away. It should have just been CM Punk right away. And then let LA Knight have a few months off. And then LA Knight come back in after the CM Punk feud. You know? Maybe Punk or LA Knight comes and saves Punk at Clash in Paris, you know? Something like that. I just telling you, they did it too quickly with LA Knight. And it's like, unfortunately, LA Knight, I feel like, has lost the steam that is necessary for him to be in this conversation. And yeah, I don't know, man. I'm just not engaged with a lot of these championship reigns. Solo's sucks. His reign has been awful so far. Yeah, Julia, we don't even see her, so awful. Cody, he's out filming a movie, so we don't really see him right now, you know. We haven't really gotten a chance to see Cody as champion. We got one Smackdown with him, and then he got written off by Drew. That's it. So, no more Cody. Tiffany, as I already said, I'm not a fan of her. I don't think she's that great as champion, but it is what it is. You know what? She's better than Seth so far, I would say that. And that's saying something. I would say so far she's been better than Seth's. Becky Lynch is the only good one, you know? Charlotte and Alexa, I don't really count it as much because obviously it's a tag team championship, but you know what? It's been okay. Not great, but okay. Wyatt Six, I don't think theirs has been very good. We don't see the champions at all. We see the teams wanting to go after the champions, but we don't see the champions. Judgment Day, theirs has already been ass. Theirs is back to the way it had been, where last summer theirs was ass, and this summer theirs was ass. They were starting something with the Judgment Day and other groups going after them, but they have seemingly abandoned that, and I don't know why. Creed Brothers were looking good, LWO was looking good, and where have they gone? God only knows. Yeah, champions right now are just not looking good. There are no good-looking champion outside of Becky Lynch. Thank God she has a match at Clash in Paris, but honestly, she's been the only good, consistent heel, man. Everyone else, I don't know. And it's not even about being a heel. She's just been a good, consistent champion. You know, her matches are great. Her feuds are great. Everyone else's, though, it's like, I don't know what's going on with them. Doms and AJ, they cooled off since SummerSlam. And, yeah, I'm just going to say it, man. There is something going on with these champion reigns right now that are just not great. I touched on it earlier, but SmackDown is not a consistently good show at all. Monday Night Raw is consistently better than them every single week, and it's not even close. SmackDown has to work on literally everything. There is nothing about SmackDown right now that clears Monday Night Raw. Nothing. Actually, you know what? I take that back. There is the tag division, the men's tag division. That's the only thing that clears. Outside of that, everything else sucks. I mean, seriously. Where's your champion? He's filming a movie. Why did we give it to him? I don't even know. But, yeah. I mean, seriously, there is just nothing consistently good about Friday Night SmackDown. I cannot consistently watch that show. I just can't. The only times I can do it is when I know the cards are going to be good. But when it's a card that's been, 1, barely announced, 2, announced, but nothing seemingly is good on it, I know it's not going to be a good show because they can't put on a good show without any of their top names being there. And I've already said this earlier, so I'm not going to touch on this for too long, but they have to announce people like weeks or months prior to the show actually happening for anyone who really want to go buy a ticket for it. Like, for instance, SmackDown coming to my to Chicago where I am in the Allstate Arena and John Cena already being announced. I might go see it, I might not. But there was more chance of me going to see it because they had already announced John Cena. And that's the last time I get to see him. So maybe I'll go see him. I don't know. But, yeah, I don't know. There's just certain things where it's like you have to announce somebody. Like Roman Reigns being announced. That draws more people. The people, I don't know. It's like they have not done a good job at building their entire roster where people are actually interested to come just see a regular show. They're interested to come see a single person. And it's been that way forever. But now, since they have started actually announcing what the shows are going to have on them, people are just not going to buy a ticket if their favorite superstar is not on it, you know? But now they've dug themselves this hole where they're announcing what's going to be on the show for the most part. I mean, sure, there are some things that are blurred where we're not going to actually know until the show happens, but they shoot themselves in the foot with this problem they have where they just announce what's going to be on the show, and then there's not many people who want to see the show. For instance, me with Smackdown. Everything that gets announced on Smackdown, I just don't want to see half the time. So it's like, I don't go see it. Yeah, SmackDown has this issue where it's just not good. It's just not a good show consistently. And it bothers me. It really, really does, because NXT is better than SmackDown. And there's an argument to be made that NXT is better than Raw. There is a big argument to be made right now. I mean, their past PLE Heatwave, that main event was fantastic. I mean, seriously. And I'm about to touch on NXT in a second. But yeah, SmackDown needs to work on their shit, because right now, it is the shit. In a bad way, not a good way. NXT not feeling like the developmental for WWE. Now, this one is a very controversial one, if you want to say it, because obviously a lot of the people on the main roster have done their dues. They don't deserve to be in NXT, but there are some who have not done their dues. And I'm not going to say names because there's no reason to, but for instance, there's a lot of names down in NXT, such as Obafemi, Javon Evans, Trick Williams, Lola Vice, names such as that who deserve to be on the main roster. There's no reason for them to be down in NXT right now, and quite frankly, yes, it's to hone their craft, to hone their skills, I get that, but they've already done that. And there's some serious talent on the main roster that need to go back down to do exactly that. And again, I'm not going to say any names on the main roster, but there's just a lot of names, and I can't even think of all of them. But, for instance, I'll say one controversial one. Tiffany Stratton. I think she needs to go back down to NXT, man. I'm telling you, I think she does. Her promos are not very good. No, I just don't want to hear that, And, yeah, that's a controversial one, I'll say it. That is very controversial, but it is the truth. I think she needs to go back down to NXT, Alpha Academy or Dungeon Dolls, I guess you can say it. Maxine Dupree, she should not be on the main roster. She should be down in NXT. Kira Tozawa, I'm sorry, but I know he's on the older side of things, but yeah, I think he's someone who should be down in NXT as well. You don't, and maybe he's just there to put over talent. I don't even know, but there's a lot of talent down in NXT that honestly could be moved up to the main roster. And there's an argument to be made that is just entirely because of the booking down in NXT. And Shawn, I think, is just a better booker than Triple H. But yeah, that's a whole other issue, though. The booking is way more consistent, way better than the main roster's booking. That it's just insane. I mean, seriously, NXT feels like a regular show, not a developmental for WWE's main roster. It really doesn't. And that's a problem. If your main roster is looking worse than your developmental, that's not good. That is just not good. And I wish they would get their shit in order, because I don't like seeing that. I really don't like seeing that. NXT's developmental is for the, development. It's not there to be the better show. It's there to be a developmental, as I said. And the problem is I just can't say that SmackDown is a consistently better show. And I would say maybe half the roster on SmackDown should be down in NXT, and half the NXT roster should be on SmackDown. There is an argument to be made about that. And yeah, I mean, it's just not great over there on SmackDown. And Monday Night Raw, there's some issues with it as well. There's some talent on Raw that should not be on the Raw roster either. But, yeah. Speaking of NXT talent getting called up, though, we have names such as Julia and Stephanie Vaquer not being utilized at all. This has been something that has been bothering me for months now. Julia is a fantastic talent. We don't get to see her really at all. She cuts backstage promo after backstage promo, and now she has Kiana James to cut those promos for her, and it just minimizes Julia even more, And the problem, I would be okay with it if we get to see Julia wrestle more, if that was the case. We don't even get that, though. Julia does not wrestle more. She wrestles less. She's wrestled one time since winning, and that was the Friday night before SummerSlam. Ever since then, we have not seen her have one title defense. Her promos backstage have been relegated to Kiana James, and it's like, it's not a great reign at all. It really isn't. I thought Zelina Vega's reign was bad. Holy shit, whatever this is, it's even worse. I mean, seriously, her only defense was against Zelina Vega, in a great match, mind you. That was actually a great match. But, wow, what is going on? Julia had a great match with Zelina Vega. Now, say what you want to say about it, I don't think Zelina Vega is that great of a talent. She actually had a good match with her. That's hard to say for a lot of people. And Julia did just that. Now, yeah. And now, don't even get me started with Stephanie Vaquer. I think Stephanie Vaquer is one of the best in-ring workers WWE has. Where the fuck is she? Why is she in catering? What are we doing? She should be getting a match almost every single Monday Night Raw, and she's not. She was supposed to be having an upcoming match for the World Championship in Clash in Paris, but Naomi and Big Jim decided to, not proceed with caution. So now we have an issue where Stephanie Vaquer does not have her match, but Adam Pearce said, oh, well, I'll go find somebody for you to fight or whatever for that championship. You're still the number one contender, so I'm going to go find someone. So I don't know whether or not that means Pearce is going to handpick somebody to be the new world champion, or if he's going to have somebody have a number one contenders match, or whatever you want to call it, a match for the world title, and Stephanie's one of the number one contenders, and there's going to be another number one contender. I have no idea, but oh my God, what is going on with Stephanie Vaquer? I mean, why isn't she being utilized? She is, as I said, probably the second or third best in-ring worker you have on Monday Night Raw right now, behind maybe Io Sky and, I don't know, Rhea Ripley or Becky Lynch, and maybe Lyra Valkyria, but yeah, she's up there. Why aren't we utilizing her? I mean, seriously, I don't get what is going on with her, but yeah, we have an issue where Stephanie Vaquer is just not being used at all. And why? Why? I mean, I don't get it. Yeah, that's all I got for this one. Last but not least, booking decisions. Now, this one can easily go with storylines if you want to say that or what, but the booking decisions have been atrocious on the main roster, to say the least. For instance, having Dom lose the AAA World Championship at AAA, I get, might not have been an entire WWE decision, WWE booking decision, but I think it is. I think it was, because there's no reason whatsoever for Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and even The Undertaker to all be down there, and not be a part of a booking decision. I just don't see that being the case, especially when you have three of your talent in the match. Now, him not going over was very controversial in my opinion. He should have, but for instance at SummerSlam, Cody Rhodes and John Cena. It was right there for Cody Rhodes to turn heel. It was right there. Cody Rhodes could have easily have done what John Cena did to win the world title. He could have easily done the same thing. But instead, we get the same boring bullshit we used to get where nothing happens in the match. And then Brock Lesnar comes out after Cody left. And then it's Cena versus Lesnar coming up, probably at WrestlePalooza, which I'm actually looking forward to. That'll probably be a great match. But why didn't we turn Cody heel right there? I mean, seriously, I cannot stand seeing the same Cody shit every single time. Cody's reign is already off to a rough start because he's out filming a movie. Now, why did we give him a championship and not turn him heel for this hiatus? I think it would have been a hell of a lot more interesting if he left as a heel, and he's gone, and he's took the championship with him, and then he returns as a heel. I think it would have been great, but we don't pull the trigger on that. Booking decisions have just been atrocious lately. I don't know what's going on with them, but there are multiple things where we just don't pull the trigger. There's not. Lyra Valkyria, for instance, could have turned heel after the Becky Lynch loss at SummerSlam. She could have. Now, she didn't. Why? I don't know. Bayley is in the midst of a heel turn, it looks like. I don't know what the hell's going on with Bayley, but actually it's somewhat interesting, so I'll give her that. But Lyra Valkyria could be doing the same thing as Bayley right now, losing her fucking mind, and she's not. Why? I don't get it. I really don't get it. But yes, there is a lot of controversial things where I just don't know why we're not pulling the trigger with certain things, you know? I just don't get it. I really don't get it. And it's bothering me. The booking decisions have been abysmal, to say the least. I don't know what we're doing. What are we doing with some of these decisions? Like, what are we doing? Now, I know this was a bit longer of a video, I get that, but I needed to get my thoughts out there. I'm sure I missed a certain amount of things, so please comment down below if you think I missed anything, because I sure as hell I did. I'm sure as hell I did. There's a lot of things to cover about why WWE has not been very good lately. I covered a vast majority of things. Some of them, obviously, you can pair with others, but honestly, I wanted to cover them as individually as possible to just get my thoughts out there. And I really would love to hear what you guys have to say. Kind of another reason why I've been hitting a hiatus with this stuff is just because the content I knew was just not going to be very good, and it's because WWE's content has not been very good lately. So I did say I was going to come back after SummerSlam. I'm thinking I'm coming back now. Okay, I'm thinking I'm coming back now. But I just, until the content, or until WWE starts to turn it around, I don't know if content's going to be coming out as frequently, but I'm going to try my absolute best to get a video out at least once a week, because again, I do want to have some content out there. But yeah, that's the problem with WWE right now, is this, it's just not been good lately, and there's a lot of different things, as I've said in this video, that go into it. So again, please comment down below what you guys think about it, if you guys agree or disagree, or have even more things that you think might be the leading cause of why WWE hasn't been very good. And until next time, see ya.